Hello student, today I'm going to explain chapter 2 from It So Happened book Children at Work. Now before starting, I just want to give you a short introduction of this chapter. Well, this lesson Children at Work, it tells us a tale of an 11-year-old boy who had run away from his village as he could not handle his father beating him up for one more day. He got into a train to Chennai without a ticket. Upon reaching the city, he had no idea of what he would do or how he would manage to stay alive. The story tells us how children like him end up working instead of studying at school where they truly belongs. Now students, let's start the chapter. So, when the Kanyakumari Express pulled in at Chennai Central, it took Velu some time to get off. When he finally stood on the platform, his legs felt wobbly as he was still on a moving train. Oi, out of the way! A porter went by with a loaded trolley. Velu jumped aside. So, student, Velu, he could not get off the Kanyakumari Express, that train, easily when it arrived at the Chennai Central Station. His legs felt unsteady as if he was still in a moving train when he got off and stood on the platform. One generally gets this feeling after traveling in a train. As he stood there, a porter came hurriedly with a loaded trolley, asking Velu to step aside. Velu got out of his way. Now, coming to the next paragraph, he sat on a bench on the platform, putting his small bundle down. In all his 11 years, he had never seen so many people except once a year at the fair in his village. People walked by, bumping into him with their suitcases. A voice announced something on a loudspeaker. Near him, a group of people sat on their luggage, looking at a TV hanging from the roof. The noise was terrible. So, my dear student, Velu, he found a small bench on the platform. He sat on it and kept his bundle down. There were so many people around him, and he had never seen a lot of people together except only once every year at the village fair. People passed by him and rammed into him with their suitcases. He heard an announcement on the loudspeaker, which he probably did not understand. People even sat on their luggage around him as they looked at the TV that hung from the roof. The noises were horrifying. So, coming to the third paragraph, Velu put his head down on his knees, feeling miserable and exhausted. He had run away from his village 2 days ago. For 2 days, he had eaten nothing but some peanuts and a piece of jaggery. In his bundle, he carried a shirt, a towel, and a comb. He had walked for most of the first day to Kannur and then got on the train to Chennai. Velu had no money for a ticket, but luckily the ticket collector didn't come to the unreserved compartment. He had tried to sleep on the floor near the door. A group of men next to him had played cards and shouted all night. So, student Velu, he kept his head on his knees. He was sad and tired as he had run away from his home 2 days earlier. In those 2 days, he only ate a few peanuts and a chunk of jaggery. The small bundle that he carried with him consisted of a shirt, towel, and comb. Of those 2 days, he was almost on foot for the first day as he went to Kannur. After that, he boarded a train to Chennai without a ticket. He did not have any money. Luckily for him, the ticket collector did not check the unreserved department. He tried sleeping on the floor near the door but couldn't because a group of men sitting near him played cards and made noise all night. Hey, what? New to town, huh? Called out a rough voice. Velu opened his eyes. There were a lot of people standing around, but nobody was looking at him. Here, hey! He turned around. Behind him was a girl around his own age, wearing a long banyan that came down to her knees. Her hair was stiff and brownish, and she had a huge sack on one shoulder. She was picking up dirty plastic cups from the floor and stuffing them into her sack. Why is she calling me? Thought Velu. And why is the girl wearing a banyan? No need to stare stupidly. What's your name? Velu, muttered Velu, looking away. So, Mr. Velu, said the girl, looking at his bundle, run away from home. So Velu suddenly heard a rough voice saying, Hey, what? New to town, huh? Upon hearing this, he opened his eyes and looked around to see who said it. But no one was looking at him. He heard the voice again from behind, telling him to look there. As he turned back, he saw a girl of almost his age, wearing a loose banyan that was so big that it almost reached her knees. Her hair was hardened and somewhat brown in color. She carried a big bag on her shoulder in which she put all the dirty cups she collected from the floor. Velu wondered why she was talking to him and why she was wearing a loose banyan, which is generally worn by the males. As Velu was wondering about all this stuff, the girl told him to stop staring at her mindlessly. She asked his name. He told her it was Velu while trying not to make eye contact with her. The girl noticed his small bundle that he carried with him and asked him if he had run away from home. Now let's see the next paragraph. Velu didn't answer. He didn't want to tell some strange girl what he had done. He had run away because he couldn't stand his father's beating him for one more day. His father would snatch away all the money Velu and his sister earned and spend it on drink. Don't think I don't know. This place is full of children like you. So, what are you going to do here? Become rich? She sat down next to him. Velu shifted away slightly. He felt hunger pinching him and pressed his stomach with a grimace. Hungry? Asked the girl. You won't get food by sitting here glumly making faces. I can find some if you want. So, student, when she asked Velu if he left his home and ran away, Velu chose not to answer. He chose not to share it with someone unfamiliar. He had actually run away because he had enough from his father's hitting him and could not take it for one more day. His father would take away all the money Velu and his sister earned to pay for his drink. The girl continued to talk and told him not to think that she is unaware of people running away from their homes. She, in fact, told him that the place had too many children like him. She asked him what he was going to do there and if his intention was to become rich like most children. As she spoke, she sat beside him. Velu moved away a bit. Velu was extremely hungry by that time and could even feel a pain in his stomach because of it. As he pressed his stomach with a painful expression on his face, the girl asked him if he was hungry. She told him that he would not have any luck with food if he continued sitting there with a depressed face. Furthermore, she even offered to help him with food. Now, let's see the last paragraph of this. part. She picked up her sack and started to walk away. Velu stayed on the bench. What should he do? Should he follow this girl? Where was she going to take him? She was disappearing into the crowd, so he had to make up his mind quickly. All right, he decided. Anyway, I have no idea where to go. He jumped up and ran after her. She wasn't even looking back to see where he was. So, student, once she finished talking, she got up, picked up her sack, and began walking. Velu, on the other hand, continued sitting on the bench. He was not sure if he should follow her. He was unaware of where the girl would take her, but he had to make a decision instantly because the girl was about to disappear in the crowd. He thought to himself that he did not have anywhere else to go otherwise. Also, so he finally made up his mind and ran after her to catch up with her speed. The girl did not even bother to check if he was able to follow her. Coming to the second part. Yes. Now, see the first paragraph of this second part. He caught up with the girl as she was leaving the station. When they got to the road, Velu found that the vehicles kept coming and never stopped for anyone. Smoke and dust flew at him from all sides, making his head spin. They had to wait for a long time before they could find a gap to run through. Velu kept hesitating, and the girl finally dragged him to the other side. So, my dear student, once he decided to go after the girl, he made up to her as she almost left the station. As soon as they reached the road, Velu noticed that the traffic did not stop for anyone. The pollution from smoke and the dust came to him from each side, which made him feel dizzy. It took them a while to find enough space to be able to cross the road. Till then, they had to wait. Velu was not very confident about crossing the road in the midst of the moving vehicles, but the girl pulled him and made it to the other side of the road. Now let's see the next paragraph. What do you think you are doing? Raising cows? If you stand around in the middle of the road like that, you will be chutney. Velu's heart was still beating fast. He looked back at Central Station and the traffic speeding by. How had they managed to come through that? They walked along the side of the road under some huge signboards. Velu looked up at the pictures: banyans, car tires, pens, a woman holding a box. The writing was all in English, so he didn't know what it meant. So, student, the girl, she told him that he needed to be fast as it is not something like grazing cows that one does slowly and patiently. She mentioned that if he stood in the middle of the road for that long, he would not come out in one piece and would probably be turned into a chutney. On the other hand, Velu's heart was racing. He was surprised when he looked back at the central station and the traffic that they just came out of. He could not believe that he managed to come alive out of the speeding traffic. Then, as they moved along the length of the road, they saw huge signboards over them. Velu couldn't understand what was written on them because it was all in English, but he definitely saw the pictures of banyans, car tires, pens, and a woman holding a box on them. Now, coming to back to this paragraph, the girl turned onto a wide bridge and walked up. Velu stopped and peeped over the railing. Under him, the road ran into a city. In the distance, he could see huge buildings and towers and more roads. See that big building with the wall around it. If you are not careful, you will soon be counting bars there. The girl grinned and pointed at a huge building. Velu squinted and read the Tamil sign, Central Jail. Why? I haven't done anything wrong. You don't have to do anything, just don't get caught. That's all. So the girl she took a turn to a wide bridge and began walking. Velu paused to look over the railing. He saw a road under him that connected to the city. A bit far away, he could see tall buildings, towers, and some more roads. The girl warned Velu that if he was not careful, he might end up counting bars in the big building that has a wall around it. She pointed at the building as she smiled broadly. Velu tried to read the Tamil sign that said Central Jail and asked the girl why he would be in there if he had not done anything wrong. The girl told him that he did not have to do anything except being careful and not being caught. Now, coming to the next paragraph. What does she mean? Velu wondered. Meanwhile, the girl was already heading to down the bridge with the sack on her shoulder. What was in it? He had seen her putting plastic cups into it at the station. What are you carrying in that bag? Things, bottles, paper. Velu wondered what she was doing with them, but he felt shy to ask any more questions. It was still morning, but the sun blasted down on the tar, and Velu bare feet burned. It was not like walking on a mud road. He was soaked with sweat. He tried hard to walk in the shade and keep up the girl at the same time. She walked really fast. How far away was the food? So Velu thought to himself what she meant when she told him all this. As he wondered, she kept walking down the bridge with her sack. Velu asked himself what was in the sack. He had seen her pick plastic cups at the station. Then he finally gathered the courage to ask it aloud. She told him that she put things like bottles and paper in her sack. This made Velu think why she collected this, but he was too hesitant to clear out any further queries. It was not yet afternoon, yet the sun glared and heated the road that caused Velu's naked feet to burn. It was nothing similar to walking on a mud road. He was sweating even though he tried to walk in shade. At the same time, he kept up with the girl as she was speedy. She wondered how long they have to walk before they get to the food. Now, after almost an hour of walking, they stopped in front of a big building, Raja Rajeshwari Prasanna Kalyana Mandapam. Read Velu slowly. A sign with letters made of flowers said, Groom J.V. Vinayagan, Bride Rani. Velu stared at the big cars parked outside. One of the cars had a flower garland and roses tapped onto it. The girl looked around, pulled one off quickly, and stuck it in her head. Come on, she said. Are we going to eat there? Asked Velu, looking at the huge hall and the people inside. Hopes, said the girl, shaking her thumb under his nose. So, student, as they walked about an hour to reach a tall building, they stood in front of it as Velu slowly read Raja Rajeshwari Prasanna Kalyana Mandapam. There was a sign on which the names of the couple were written. It said Groom J.V. Vinayagan, Bride Rani, in letters made of flowers. Velu kept looking at the lavish cars that stood outside. Out of those cars, one car was decorated with roses and garlands tapped onto it. The girl scanned the surroundings to make sure no one was looking before she plucked a flower and stuck it in her hair. The girl said, Come on, after which Velu asked her if they were going to eat inside the building. The girl shook her thumb under his nose to make fun of him and ridiculed the high expectations of the boy. Now, coming to the paragraph, she led him behind the wall. There was a big garbage bin overflowing with rubbish. Two goats were standing on the pile, fighting for a banana leaf. A cloud of flies buzzed around their legs. There was a rotten smell in the air. The girl picked up a squashy banana and held it out to Velu. Here's your food. Velu was shocked. Are we going to eat their leftovers? Chew! What do you think I am? A dog? I only take untouched food. Here, some more. Catch. She threw him a vada. Velu looked at him with distaste. So, student, she showed him the way to the back of the hall. They could see a huge garbage bin flooded with junk and leftovers. Two goats stood on the garbage hill as they confronted each other for a banana leaf. Their legs were surrounded by a lot of flies. One could sense the rotten smell around it. The girl found an overripe banana that she gave to Velu as she told him that this was his food. Velu was shocked on seeing the banana and thus he asked her if they were going to eat the leftovers. The girl replied in disgust and asked him if he thinks of her as a dog who would eat leftovers and crumbs. She told him that she only picked the uneaten food. She told him to catch some more of it as she tossed a vada at him. He looked at the food with distaste and disgust. Come on, hero, eat it. You think I like it? I told you I will find you something to eat. Don't think I have money to buy food for you. You had better eat what you get until you have your own money. Velu hesitated, but his stomach squeezed him again. He gulped down the banana and vada. His stomach felt better immediately. He could have eaten at least 10 times more, but the girl could finally find only one more banana which she ate herself. So, student, the girl told him to go ahead and eat it. She further mentioned that she doesn't like that either. She specified that she told him she would find him something to eat and not that she had money to buy food for him. She told him to adjust with whatever he finds to eat till he began earning. Velu paused in indecision at first, but then he was starving, so he swallowed the banana and vada quickly. He began feeling better in his stomach right away. He was so hungry that his stomach had the capacity to take in 10 times more food, but they could only find one more banana, which the girl ate herself. Now, coming to the next paragraph, it's too early. They have only eaten tiffin. If you are still hungry, you will have to wait for them to finish lunch. You can wait if you want. I have to work. I am going. She picked up a couple of bottles from the heap and threw it into her sack. Then she walked off. Velu panicked. He realized that if the girl left him, he had no idea where he was and what to do. It was better to stick to her. She seemed to know her way round. He ran after her again. Hey, he called. He did not even know the girl's name. Hey, what is your name? He asked, hurrying behind her. She stopped and turned around. Oh, oh. So you have been following me around without even knowing my name? Jaya. I am not following you. What then? Who got your food? Can I come with you? Where are you going? Come if you want. This bag is full. I have to go home to get another one. So, student, the girl, she told him that to get their hands on some more food, they will have to wait till the people inside the building finish their lunch. It was too early and they had only eaten their tiffin by then. She told him he could wait for it, but had to go and work now. She went on and picked up her few bottles from the pile and put it in her sack. After she began walking, Velu panicked as she realized that he did not go with the girl. He would have nowhere else to go and nothing else to do. He thought it would be best for him to stay with her as she knew how to survive. Thus, he ran after her and asked her name. She teased him a bit by saying that she had been following her everywhere even when he didn't know her name. She told him that her name was Jaya. Velu specified that he had not been following her. She replied by asking if he had not been following her, then what was he doing? She was the one who got him food. Velu further asked him where she was going and if he could come with her. Jaya said that she was going back home to pick up a new bag as the current one was full and that he could come along if he wished. Now, coming to the third paragraph, Jaya and Velu walked along the road for half an hour until they came to a bridge across a dirty trickle of water. We are in Triplicane now. See, that's Buckingham Canal, said Jaya. Velu stared. This was a canal. Near some puddles of water was a row of the strangest huts he had ever seen. They were built out of all sorts of things like metal sheets, tires, bricks, wood, and plastic. They stood crookedly and looked as if they would fall any moment. Is this where you live? The houses are strange, said Velu. In our village, the houses are made of mud and palm leaves. So, both of them walked for around half an hour till they reached a bridge across a dirty stream of water. Jaya told him that they had reached the Triplicane neighborhood and she also showed him the Buckingham Canal. Velu looked at it continuously and asked if it was really a canal. There, near some random pools of water, there was a line of the weirdest huts he had ever seen. They were made of things like metal sheets, tires, bricks, wood, and plastic. They were not straight and were made at an irregular angle. It felt like they could lose their shape any minute. Velu asked Jaya if she lived there because the hearth looked strange. He further told her that he had only seen houses that are made out of mud and palm leaves. It was unusual for him to see houses like these. Now, Jaya went around to one of the huts and dumped her sack outside. Then she picked up an empty one. Let's go. She turned to Velu and gave him a stove. At least help me now. Here, wear this and come with me. She threw him a pair of old shoes without laces and pushed a sack and a stick onto his hand. So Jaya, she went inside one of those huts, kept her sack outside and found herself a free one. She then turned to Velu, gave him a push and asked him to help her. She gave him a pair of used shoes that did not have any laces and asked him to wear it. She then handed him a sack and a stick. Velu was confused. Velu was confused. What work did she want him to do with these things? Okay. The only work he had ever done was on the landowner's farm, weeding and taking cows out to graze. Are there any farms in the city? He asked Jaya. She laughed and thumped her stick on the ground. Farms? There are no farmers here. We are rack pickers. Rack pickers? See my bag, full of things I collected. Collected? From where? Asked Velu. From rubbish bins. Where else? You collect rubbish? Velu had never heard of such a thing. Hey, blockhead, it's not only any rubbish, only paper, plastic, glass, such things. We sell it to Ram Bazar Jaggu. So, student, Velu, he was not sure he understood everything that was happening. He did not know what type of work Jaya expected him to do with a sack and a stick. The only type of work he had ever done before was on a farm owned by a landowner. He used to take the cows for grazing and did herding. He asked Jaya if there were any farms in the Chennai. Jaya found it amusing as she stroked her stick on the ground and told him that there were no farmers here and all they did was rack picking. Velu did not understand. Jaya told her about the things she had collected in her sack. By this time, Velu had begun to panic, and he further asked from where she had collected all those things. She told him that she had sorted them out from rubbish bins. Velu thought that she collected garbage, but she corrected him and told him that she only gathered paper, plastic, glass, and such stuff which she later sold to Jam Bazar Jaggu. Now, coming to the next paragraph, Velu was puzzled. He had heard of people throwing away rubbish, but why would anyone want to buy rubbish? Who is Jambazar Jagu? Why he is buying all this? All thing he buys it for show. He sells it to a factory. Come on, I don't have time to waste like you. Velu did not move. He hadn't run away and come to this new place to dig through garbage bins. Jaya poked at him with her stick. Look here, she shouted. If someone gets there before us, we don't get anything. Don't just stand there posing. Big hero, I'm trying to help you who filled your stomach today. Velu scratched his head and sighed. I will do it for now, he thought, until I find a better job. So, student, in the last paragraph, Velu was extremely confused at this moment. He could not understand why someone would buy rubbish because people generally want to get rid of garbage. He asked Jaya about Jam Bazar Jagu and his motive behind buying all the rubbish. She clarified that he does not buy it for showcasing it but instead sells it to a factory. She was in a hurry and told him she did not have much time to waste, unlike him, and went away. Velu stood still as he thought to himself that he hadn't run away to search through garbage dumps. Next moment, he was poked by Jaya with her stick and told that they need to be there before anyone else, otherwise, they would not get anyone. She told him that she is only trying to help and also made him recall that she is the one who feed him earlier that day. Velu, he scratched his head as he heaved a sigh and thought that he would do it till he finds himself a better job. So, student, I think you really have enjoyed this chapter. Thank you, student.